My next guest is someone remarkable who's been a DJ for 30 years. I find him to be probably the best house DJ in Melbourne. And if you went to the Social in Chapel Street over the last God knows how many years, you would have danced your ass off to his music or the people he put on. He was responsible for the success of it. And when it closed down, we all went, what the fuck are we going to do now? But he's taken the crowd, 2161, created a new night over there between 9 and 12. It is the best house music in Melbourne. Go and check it out. Right now, my special guest, Peter Apostle.
Dean, thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that welcome.
Yeah, well, in my mind, you are predominantly one of the best house DJs in Melbourne. And you've when I used to hire you for gigs, I used to find you the most versatile. I could say, hey, Pete, we've got this crowd, whatever, and you would just adapt to it in 5 seconds flat. Yep. And that's a seasoned pro. You started your time way back in the piece. 30 years ago you started.
Correct, 30 years
And when I was reading up about what you did, you started in Greek bars and cafes.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So as we all know, Melbourne is a massive Greek community.
Yeah.
And in the mid to late 90s, there was probably about 30 to 40 bars that opened up along Russell Street and Longstaff Street, which were purely Greek music-based venues. That all played Greek and English.
Yep.
There were some bars that played just Greek.
Yep.
And I was 14, 15 years old, and I got a taste
14, would you?
Yeah, so I got my first DJ residency at a little place called Medusa, which was on Russell Street when I was 15 years of age.
I remember that being around, yeah.
Yeah, so that venue was quite unique in that strip where they didn't really play too much Greek. They didn't want they wanted trance.
Yep.
So, being a young guy in the mid 90s, trance was all the hype, and so
yeah, it's weird with trance too because trance. I feel like trance really had its time. When I was running parties and we started at Chases, we had trance rooms and whatever. They became predominantly less and less busy.
Yep.
And house music really took over, and we used to laugh because we used to say about the DJs that play trance DJs can't dance. Yeah. It was kind of one of those things. But for your style, you loved house music from the start, didn't you?
House music has always been my passion.
Yep.
My very first record that introduced me to house music.
Here we go.
Was Lucky Star, Ron Carroll.
Yeah.
Still play it.
Yep.
Blackwater, Octave.
Yeah.
Some songs that I bought on vinyl.
Yeah.
In the garbage bins, back in the vinyl days, on Saturdays they'll have the vinyl shops every Saturday between 3 and 5. 10-pack of vinyl, $50.
Yeah.
Right. And you probably get one decent song in the bag, but it's a mystery bag. You didn't know what you were getting.
Yeah. I love the fact that you played vinyl because there's when I talk to people, the young ones about, I used to have DJs that used to play vinyl. They go, what the fuck's vinyl? How did they do that? How did they mix? And I'm going, that was a skill.
An art, yeah.
That was an art, wasn't it?
Correct.
And so you basically learnt on vinyl.
I learned on one turntable, one cassette deck, and one CD player.
Wow.
That's how I learned how to DJ. On a Radio Shack mixer from Tandy Electronics back in the day. That's how I learned how to DJ. Yeah. So it wasn't much of DJing, I'll tell you.
It's weird. It's weird, isn't it? Because, you've gone from that, where it was a real art form, a real skill, then moved into CDs, and then obviously now it's USBs. Yep. And everything's just evolving so fast and so cool. I felt like CDs were around for a blink, and then all of a sudden USBs came along.
About a decade, if that.
Yeah, but now it's like I find that there is also I hate to say it, but there's a lot of DJs out there I feel like have lost the art form of being able to really learn how to do that skill of
correct.
Because the systems kind of do it for you a little bit. Is that?
Yeah. No, you are right. It is a lot more computerized these days. I know that old age saying of digital, vinyl, yada, yada, yada. The way I see it, I use the sync button.
Yep.
And that might be blasphemy to a lot of people. I use the sync button because I get creative and do a lot more things in my mixing.
Yeah, right.
But I can use the sync button because I know how to DJ vinyl.
Yeah.
If you know how to DJ vinyl, the sync button, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to DJ properly, don't use the sync button.
Do you find now that because I've always struggled because when I started running parties, there was no the only way I could find out about interstate DJs or whatever is I had to go. They'd send me a CD, but I didn't trust the CD. I would have to go and fly to Sydney or wherever it was to listen to them live. Do you find now that it's when I see DJs that haven't done their time, and when I say time, playing in the places, playing in the, not just straight out of the bedroom into a club and getting a main room gig, actually doing their time.
Yeah, the
I
early
see
sets.
that there's a lot of young ones now who kind of, maybe the mates of a promoter or whatever, and getting main sets. I'm like, that's to me outrageous. I feel like
clever social media marketing.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
It's all down to social
I've
media.
been conned a couple of times. I've booked a couple of guys for my events.
Yep.
That look amazing.
Yep.
And I've put them on, and I'm like, I've got to get this guy off the stage and jump on myself.
Tap and yeah.
What I do now, and I feel quite embarrassed doing this at times, but it was only last week. I'm running a new night at a new venue, an R&B night, which I'm not an R&B DJ. I've got passion for R&B.
Yeah. But there's a crowd there. There's people
there is. It's starting to go again in Melbourne. And I reached out to a couple of guys that have been DJing for as long as I have.
Yeah.
I've never heard them play.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I feel embarrassed, but can I please get a mixtape?
Yeah.
Can you please send me a recording? And one of them laughed at me. And it's like, listen, no offense, but I'm not going to book somebody ever again without having listened to play.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can send me a recording of you recording it live at a club, perfect.
Yeah. Because I find that there's nothing worse than, for a lot of, you've got the music, you've got catalogs and catalogs of music. For a lot of the young ones, they don't have that. And when I see them getting put on these main room sets, and all of a sudden not being able to read a crowd, and they don't have the music to adjust.
Yes.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, it actually really bothers me, because I feel like, being the toilet DJ or being whatever, they're the places that you learn how to adapt.
Correct.
And I don't find there's enough
You
of
read
that.
the room.
Yeah.
You read the room from an empty room to slowly growing it,
Yep.
see what works. I remember one of the first nights that you and I had met in my, let's call it my second time round in the club scene.
Yeah.
And it was at the Social. It was a Friday night.
Yep.
There was nobody in there, but there was three guys sitting on the couch opposite. And I'm playing to nobody, but I'm having fun. I love music.
You love what you do.
Music has always been a salvation of mine for many different reasons. And when I'm playing, I'm feeling it. And, they say you shouldn't DJ for yourself, you should DJ for your crowd. I agree with that. But if you're not into it, if you're not vibing the music, and I've got a pretty big character behind the decks.
Yep.
And when I'm on, I'm on.
You're on. Yeah.
So I don't care if there's no one on the dance floor or 400 people on the dance floor. If I'm on, I'm on. And I remember you walking over to me, and I'm like, is that Dean? I hadn't seen you for about 20 years at this stage. And you've come up and you said, is your name Peter Apostle? And I said, yes, Dean, I am Peter. Yeah. And you've looked at me. And what I loved about that moment is you had heard about my music. You didn't remember me from Viper Room, but you have heard of my music. You heard of my reputation.
Yeah.
And you came and checked me out.
Yep.
And you booked me that night because of my performance that night.
Yeah.
And I loved that. There's a lot of people in the scene that only book their mates or social people. You went out of your way, did your research and development, came and had a listen, and you put me on as one of your residents for about, I think, 6 years. I think
it was. And you delivered absolutely every time, because you knew what I loved. We didn't even need to talk about it. You just go, and I'd look and you go, yep, I need to do this and get them on here. And I got referred, you got referred to me by a friend, and she said, oh, you need to go and see Peter Apostle plays it, whatever. And I was keen to do it anyway, because I love house music and whatever. But when I saw you play, I was like, this guy fucking loves his music. And there's DJs I know I've hired who are going through relationship breakups and whatever, and they play to their emotions, and it's detrimental to your crowd.
It is, yeah.
But when you stand on there, we'd all stand there and go, look at him, he's a machine. He's an absolute fucking machine. You just get on and just go. Yeah. And then to the point where you'd be breaking out in sweats with just pure energy going through you, which is amazing.
I've got custom-made sweat towels coming soon. It's become a bit of a trademark of mine. I always carry at least, if I'm doing 1 hour sets, I'm using one towel. If I'm using 2 hour sets, I'm using 2 towels. So, sweat towel's my thing.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you, because you came from a very religious Christian upbringing.
Yeah, correct.
How did someone come from that kind of home, upbringing, whatever, to wanting to get into DJing?
We're delving into childhood. So raised in a fairly strict church-going Greek family.
Yep.
All about community. My father was the president of the Greek community of Clayton.
Yep.
We had priests and archbishops and all these special people from around the world and come to our house for Sunday lunch, and I was my Sunday best and always a good boy, and always on show. I had to be proper for my father and the family, which I loved at times. The whole community, the whole Greek community. You rally around each other. You help each other out. A lot of people do. Like in every nationality, there's good and bad. But little things like Good Friday pill. This is one memory of every Good Friday. I was that kid knocking on your door asking for money for the Good Friday pill. We did that as a community, and I tried instilling that those morals into my daughter. I've got my 16-year-old, and through COVID,
she's 16 now.
She's 16, mate.
Wow. Where did that go?
Yeah.
But how did you always have was there a inner rebel inside you that wanted to break loose?
I believe there was. Yeah. So I played the bouzouki, the Greek guitar, for about 8 years as a kid.
Yep.
It was pushed on me.
If I'd known this, I would have got you on at the parties.
Yeah. No.
That would have been great.
So, I love music,
Yeah.
but when something's pushed on you, you sort of don't love it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, I know how to read music. I love music, but I love English music.
Yep.
So started sort of, my sister started buying the CD singles, Real McCoy and La Bouche and all these things.
Yep.
And a mate of mine who wasn't from my area, whose family was a well-to-do family, he had bought some brand new Pioneer decks.
Yeah,
and I
right.
went around, we used to play basketball together.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what is this,
Fell in love.
And then I bought my CDs, my sister's CDs, and threw them in and started mucking around. I'm like, okay. So slowly started to sort of get away from the bouzouki. I grabbed my parents' turntable out of the hi-fi. I got the cassette deck out of the hi-fi, saved $70. I went to Tandy, bought a Radio Shack mixer, got my sister's Sony CD tray, and just started fooling around at home.
Yep.
And then I was in year 10, and we had a business management project. And my project, I wanted to run the first ever school social.
Right.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
So the principal was a bit of a hard ass, and there was never any joy at this school.
Yep.
I won't mention the school. And I approached him and I said, listen, this is the idea I've got for business. I think we should do a party.
Yeah.
And he agreed. He goes, you have to pay for everything. We're not chipping anything. Get sponsors, do what you got to do. And from young, I just started hustling.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever little project, which
you fell in love with.
I love it. And
it's amazing, isn't it? When it's something is in your blood and it's your passion, it's always in your blood. And
I love entertaining.
Yeah.
I love seeing people happy. I love making people smile.
Yep.
I could be a DJ, I could be an actor, I could be a singer. I can't be a singer, I can't sing. But any form of entertaining.
Yep.
Saying jokes, being an idiot. I've always been the class clown.
Yeah, you've always had an energy about you, and a positive energy.
Yeah, well, I have for the last 10 years. There was a few dark years there where I didn't have this positive energy.
This is the thing. You did all these venues around Melbourne, and then eventually ended up at Viper Room. We used to call it Sniper Room, but Viper Room, and brings back massive memories for me because when we'd run our first day parties that I ever ran, we were at Chase's, Viper Rooms across the road. We would literally, we'd have drag queens stopping traffic to let all the crowd go from
800 people
one venue to the other venue.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was amazing, good times and whatever. And you were there for how long? How long?
Yeah, so I started at Viper as their private function DJ when I was about 17.
Yep.
So throughout the week, law firms, accounting firms would hire Viper Room and throw
parties
Christmas
and whatever it was. Yeah. Yep.
And it wasn't trance.
Yeah.
It was Kylie Minogue's and pop. And
Yeah.
so I jump on it. I had a cousin who was managing one of the owners of that whole consortium, was managing one of their restaurants, and she got me in.
Yep.
Thanks, Kat. And so I started with Viper when I was about 17. Then from there, some of those boys teamed up with some other guys and opened up Tribeca.
Yeah, right.
Toorak Road.
Yep.
Started playing there as their resident DJ. Friday nights were great. We had Joey D.
Yep.
And his band.
Yep.
So they'd perform, and I'd jump on the decks, and I was only about, I think I was about 19, 20 when I was at Tribeca. I was always quite mature.
Yep.
From young, and I think being brought up in a pretty strict family.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why I was accepted by guys in their 30s and 40s as this young kid that, you know, they saw a hustle about me. They saw I love my music, and they're like, you know what, let's give this guy an opportunity. I think that happened to me a lot in my young adult life.
Yep.
Tribeca went really well. And then those guys teamed up with some other guys and took on Whiskey Bar.
Right, okay, yeah.
Changed it into Chicane.
Right, yeah, okay.
On Burke Street.
Oh, these are some flashbacks.
Yeah. And I was invited to run the Saturday nights there. They spent quite a bit of money renovating the place. And I've never ran a night before. I was just a DJ.
Yeah.
And they said, we know you've got a really big network, you know, a lot of young ones. Let's you know. So I jumped on board there, and it was my job to bring the young ones in. And we had Paul Laver and Clay Powell.
Wow.
They used to run Motel Sunday nights.
I'm having major flashbacks.
Those guys, yeah, they were the cool group of Melbourne. So they were to bring the cool kids in there, and also bring all the young ones.
Yeah. And they pull a crowd.
They did really well. My guest list, we used to do about anywhere from 700 to 1,000 kids every Saturday night.
That's big.
Serious numbers.
So your time at when did you go back? You managed Viper Room then?
So it was DJing at Viper, then Tribeca for the same owners, then Chicane. Then they saw what I did at Chicane.
Yep.
They wanted to change Viper Room.
Yep.
They wanted to renovate it.
Yep.
And they wanted to go from trance to house. They wanted to keep Friday nights trance and make Saturday night house because house was in.
Yeah.
So they asked
Which is weird too, because Viper Room had a very trance
correct
reputation about it. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So then they asked me to leave Chicane and go help them out at Viper, which I did.
Yep.
And we launched, and it went off with a bang.
Yeah.
It really, it really attracted a whole.
I think if you didn't get to experience Viper Room, you really missed out on something. It was just, there was a certain energy. The sound system was amazing. There was a certain energy in there that from the minute I don't know whether it was because of the reputation of it or what, but it just had a vibe.
Yeah. Look, it was a mixture of things, right? Everyone was included. Everyone was friendly. Everyone was allowed.
Yep.
You know, you had your tops off hunks, fucking steroid boys. You had your
Glow
doctors.
sticks.
Yeah, you had your doctors and your lawyers in their ties. You had the odd looking gangster bloke over there.
Yeah.
You had the strippers over there. You had the normal ladies over there.
It was like
just
a bit of mix of everything. Yeah.
Everyone. There was Wogs, Aussies, Asians.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
But everyone got along because everyone was fucking high on pills, right? So it was great fun. It was great fun.
It was a time. No cameras.
Exactly.
Which is even better.
And then this would have been around 2000 and
2 or 3, wasn't it?
Maybe the renovations happened 2004, 2005.
Yeah, around then.
Then I had my first motorbike accident.
Yeah.
November 26th, 2004.
Yep.
And that I was gone for a while.
Yep.
They gave my night away to somebody else because I couldn't work them.
Yep.
Did a Euro trip 2005. Got back to Melbourne, and then the boys from Viper had a meeting with me, and they're like, listen, we're having a change in management. We know you're young, but you're capable. We can see what you can do. You know, you don't act 23.
Yep.
We'd love for you to be our venue manager.
Yep.
So I wasn't working at the time. The DJing slowed down for me because I started to crack the shits with the music.
Yeah, right.
This fucking Electro House came out.
Yep.
It's just, it's not house.
And I get the same. Like, I feel the same. We had a set sound for a long period of time, and there's sounds out now which I feel like are not doing justice to the crowd because the crowds aren't dancing to the music because it doesn't seem very rhythm based.
Yep.
So I get very frustrated. Well, I completely understand that.
Which was also a good timing. Good timing for me because the music I wasn't enjoying anymore. I got a little bit over the partying side of life.
Yep. You reached that point.
Yeah.
I've just reached.
Well, it goes up and down, right?
It goes up and down.
And then yes, I jumped on board as venue manager.
Yep.
It would have been towards the end of 2005, I reckon. And I was there till about 2008. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, from my understanding of Viper Room, the reason why Viper lost its license was there was someone got out of a car, went to shoot someone at the front door, and then there was a whole bunch of drama involving the gun and so forth. Can you elaborate on a little bit of that?
Yeah, I will a little bit. It was a lot of different things. It wasn't one item that called the cops around, right?
Yeah. It was a number of things.
A number of things. Yeah, there was, I was there for 3 years. In those 3 years, there was a couple of stabbings. There was ODs. Things that were out of our control, though. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
We're trying to run a business.
Things I think every club has pretty much been through.
Exactly right. And it's not the club owner's fault.
No, and this is
someone is doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Look, Revolver's gone through that recently with, stabbings and whatever, and people have a negative view on the venue. It's not the venue. No. It's just that stuff happens within that world. So
Correct. So, we had a shooting there while I was managing, and that was my first experience with that sort of thing.
Yep.
I was in my office doing what I was doing, and I heard something different in the sound, but I just didn't think too much of it.
Yep.
And then I've gone down to see what's going on, and people were being rushed out the door, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And someone's like, "Oh, someone got shot." I'm like, "Fucking hell!" Like, wow, okay, this is interesting. And I'm trying to sort of stay on top of the situation, but before I knew it, the guys were gone. There was nothing around. Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
the show must go on, right?
Yeah.
Then the one that you brought up, that was an interesting situation. Once again, I was in my office, got a call over the radio. One thing we need to know is, while I was there, I handpicked all those security guards.
Yep. I remember it being really, for my crowd, a very positive experience because the security were really welcoming.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So there was a time where there was some security there, no good. But I thought to myself, since I'm the boss and I had the freedom to do what I want, really, I want to work with people that I like and who I feel safe with.
Yeah.
My best mate, like he's like my brother, Big Jason. He was head of security at Revolver. He was out of work at one stage. I just took over Viper and I'm like, mate, do you want a job? Come work with me. And just having him there
was like,
when you've got that one mate, that's like an army.
They've got your back.
He's the army.
Yeah. So the second shooting that happened.
So I was in my office. I get a radio call over the radio. Pete, it's a fight. I've run downstairs. People are scuffling over there. There's girls screaming in the toilets. I've opened up the female toilet door and there's this blonde bird laying on the floor with her nose just like all over the place.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? And some girl's like, oh, such and such punched her in the face. And I'm like, fuck, like, how do you punch her? I'm totally against violence. I hate violence, especially against women and children. So I've walked out of the toilet like, this is fucked. And I've found them and they're all punching on with the guards and they've kicked these guys out. And everyone's on adrenaline now, right?
Yep.
You're all peaking.
Yep.
So everyone's trying to calm down. This was, mind you, Melbourne Cup morning.
Oh, wow.
Right? The fight happened at about 4.
So you've had cup parties?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So we were open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This was Monday. This is our 5th night.
Yep.
You know what it's like in industry, right? 2 nights and you're pretty much done. This is the 5th night.
Your staff are stuffed. Your security are buggered. Everyone's cooked.
It's just, it's not nice. So we're all chilling out thinking, fucking hell, what a way to finish the weekend. Little I know, that wasn't the end. Got a call on the radio. Such and such is outside, wants to talk to you. I'm like, oh, here we go. So we've gone outside and I've taken Jason with me and he's across the road and he starts approaching us and I'm like, mate, what's up? Like, fuck, how many times do you want to fuck up in our venue? We keep letting you in. And he's just pulled a gun on me and he's about a meter away and he's pointing the gun to my face.
Wow.
I don't know if it was adrenaline, stupidity, and I'm like, fucking go on then. Like, I was done.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with your hands? You pull a gun on me.
Yep.
So he's waving the gun, or he's holding the gun straight at me. And then Jason was next to me. He's taken a step forward, and as soon as Jason took a step forward, this guy's moved the gun to Jason.
You're right.
So then I've taken a step forward, he's moved the gun back to me. When he's done that, Jason's launched in. Jason's Superman.
Yep.
He really is.
Yep.
He saved my life that day.
I was going to say, do you feel like
he
did?
saved my life that day. So I will die for this man.
Yep.
I get emotional talking about the situation. And he's launched in and he's grabbed this gun. Jason was like 150 kilos, 6'6". He's a fucking unit,
big
right?
Dude. Yep.
So he's wrestling with this guy. This guy, he was very strong this morning. Don't know why. And we're wrestling with this guy, and Jason's got the gun, and I've jumped in, and I've got him in a headlock, and I'm trying to snap his neck now. He's got a fucking gun at my face.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Like, it's all, I've got no weapon. I'm going to do what I can to survive now. And we're all wrestling now. And I hear a pop. And the gun's gone off up against my gut. So Jason's holding this guy's hand, and he's banging it up against my gut, trying to release the gun.
Wow.
And every time he's done that, a shot's fired down Chapel Street.
Wow.
So 3 shots have gone up against my gut, and I'm like, that's my gut. So I've done a little maneuver. I'm backwards. This guy's backwards. His hand's over there. And then Jason's grabbed the hand, and he's banging it up against the parked car that we're wrestling against. 2 more shots fired down Chapel Street from the bonnet, and then the gun got dropped.
Wow. That's insane.
It was pretty full on. At the time, you're not thinking about anything. You're just thinking about survival mode.
Yeah.
So
then what happened after that?
So the gun's dropped. We've all let go. He's about 3 meters away from us. This car comes flying down Chapel Street. And I thought, fuck, this guy's going to pull out another gun and shoot us or something.
Yep.
He didn't. They had a chat, the gunman and the guy. The guy drove off, and the gunman just started running down Chapel Street.
Wow.
We've picked up the gun. We've taken it upstairs. This is 6 o'clock, 6:20 a.m.
Yep.
Public holiday morning.
Yep.
Chapel Street.
Mental.
Families walking dogs. People on their morning walks. Chases just closed.
Yep.
It's all happening. You know, the market's getting open. And we're inside, and everyone's tripping out and fucking adrenaline. And I was told to hide the gun.
Right.
Which I didn't feel comfortable about.
Yeah, but in that situation, not knowing, like your adrenaline must be through the roof, and you go, well, what do I do here?
Yeah, correct. So, you know, I got to keep in mind that I felt like I felt responsible for a lot of people there.
Well, you're a manager.
I was the venue manager. There was no owners there at the time.
Yep. And this is just like a situation no one wants to go through.
No, that's right.
No venue, no one wants to deal with this.
Correct.
You know?
And, you know, we're just doing our job.
Yeah.
We're not fucking gangsters.
Yeah.
We're not guys that carry guns. We're just
so
here.
you took the gun upstairs?
We've taken the gun upstairs into the office. We've stashed it. 5 minutes later, 4 SWAT trucks.
Wow.
Swarming of cops.
Yeah.
They've locked everyone in the venue. It's all happening. And then cops have got me in the office, and they're just losing it at me. You know, where's the shooter? Where's the shooter? I said, I don't fucking know who the shooter. I don't know. It's like, mate, where's the fucking gun? I didn't realize they were talking about the gun.
Yeah, right.
I thought they were talking about the bloke.
Yep.
I don't know the bloke.
Yep.
You know? So I gave them the pistol.
Yep.
And then I got charged with possession of firearms.
You got charged?
Yeah.
So I never knew that.
Yeah. I got charged. I got dragged through the courts for about a year and a half.
Is that the reason why they tried to, they shut
the reason?
Viper lost its license?
No, that's one of the reasons. Combination of about 40 different things.
So you got charged?
Yeah, so I was meant to leave the gun on the road with all these drug crazed people around, just leave it there. I wasn't meant to pick it up.
Wow.
Yeah. So look, I think it was their way of fucking the club over.
Yep.
Because
I think at that particular time, I felt like, you know, the government was really targeting clubs.
Yeah, correct.
They wanted to try and clean up the streets and whatever, and they were blaming
and I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
you know, like you want to be safe when you go out.
Yeah, but you're just doing your job.
It's a complete. It's a completely its own world. You know, that world looks after itself. You know, the blessings and the bullshit.
Yep.
It sorts out itself.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
And when you get officials and suits and ties trying to get involved, it's like, mate, you're only making things worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got charged with about 5 different charges, and they were threatening me with jail and all this sort of shit. I lost my job. PTSD kicked in. I had all these guys after me because I don't know.
Yeah.
All these tough guys were after me for, I don't know.
You're a target.
You know, yeah. It's like, fucking leave me alone.
Wow.
So I went through a bit of shit.
Going through all this.
Yeah, I went through a bit of shit.
Particularly with the kind of character that you are, which is always up in energy and looking after other people. How did you deal with that?
Not very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you actually do jail time?
Not for that situation. No. Yeah, no, not for that. So on the 11th hour, they dropped all charges if I pleaded guilty to perverting the course of justice.
Wow.
Sorry, of hindering of police.
And none of that needed to happen.
No, exactly. No. But it was their way of starting legal proceedings.
Yep.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say.
Fast forwarding, did you slide into a very dark patch?
Yep. Substance abuse, PTSD. My mind wasn't right. I wasn't in a good place for about a couple of years, year and a half.
And so that led you to what happened that you end up in jail?
That's a different situation. So then, after that, the shooting, mates pulled me out of depression. Got better. Met a young girl. Had my daughter. That was all going really well. Normal life. Got a job. All that sort of thing.
So stability, everything.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And then, look, I'd made some connections throughout the years, and I was doing a few things I shouldn't have been doing. Involved with some people I shouldn't have been involved with. I think when you're young and impressionable, you just want to be accepted, especially when you look up to these people that you think are...
And the other thing too is with that industry that it lends itself to, you become friends with people who who are not living normal 9 to 5 existence. They're doing really some interesting things in life, and it doesn't necessarily make them bad people.
Correct.
It just means that they're doing what they do.
Correct.
Good or bad.
Correct.
We all end up, I've had friends of mine who have been drug dealers and whatever, but it's that doesn't necessarily make them bad people. It's the choices that they've made for their life.
Exactly.
And you've obviously got wrapped up in that whole thing, especially suffering from what you were going through. Easily led in a time when your life is feeling pretty spiraling. And then all of a sudden you go, well, that's actually bringing me some happiness. These people are making me feel happy.
Well, I was down and out. I had no money. I was struggling. And opportunities came and I took them. And, and so I'm not going to say I regret it.
No.
I don't regret it. I don't regret anything in life.
No, I don't think you should.
But fast forward, you
did, so obviously did some jail time.
A little bit. Yeah. I was in remand for a couple of weeks.
It's an interesting place, jail, because
it really is.
I gave a talk. I wrote the book "Find the Blessing in the Bullshit" and got asked to go and talk to the prisoners over at Ravenhall. And I was as nervous as fuck going in there, and I had all these preconceived ideas about what jail was like. And when I got in there, I thought this is nothing what I thought, because 95% of people who go to jail are in there because of the decisions they made on drugs and alcohol.
Correct.
When they're in there, they're sober and they're actually just normal people.
Exactly right.
And so that experience of going in there and seeing that, I just went, fuck, these people have just, they fucked up doing the wrong thing on drugs and alcohol, And so I can't imagine what that was like for you. It must have been a massive shake-up.
It was. Look, at that time though, when all that happened, I wasn't the person I am today. Okay. I had a different ego about me. A different bravado about me, and that's all it was. It was just ego and bravado.
Do you think that you had to? I'm a big believer in universal balance. Do you think you had to go through that to get to where you are now?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Yep.
I wouldn't be the man I am today, and I'm very proud of the man I'm very proud of who I am today and what I've accomplished and where I've come from. That whole process. I got raided with about 15 shotguns pointed to my head.
Wow.
And the reason I had all those guns pointed to my head was because I had those gun charges in the past. Right? And while those guns were pointed at my head, I saw every mistake run through my mind that I made in the last 15, 20 years. But you fucking dickhead. And I remember sitting in the cells at magistrates before they moved me to the MAP. And I remember thinking to myself, you've done this to yourself. Don't blame the cops. Because it's their job to do what they're doing. We were kids. What did we play as kids? Cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, right? You're trying to get away from someone. As adults, that's what we do. You commit the crime, you try to get away. It's their job to catch us. Good on them for catching me.
And I think it's a really for you to be able to take ownership of that. It's probably helped you out, because so many people get stuck in the bullshit of blaming everyone else for their fucking problems, and you've come out and gone, "Nah, I was responsible," which is
my fuck up. My daughter, and the mother and my ex, the mother of my daughter, she really stood by me. And at that stage, we weren't the best of friends. She was an ex. Okay, And I'm in court now, and she supported me. She was right there next to me. She didn't have to be because she was an ex.
Do you feel like it's you only need that one person to believe in you?
Yeah, look, I'm very blessed. I've got a really good support network.
Yep.
My family,
pretty good.
My best mates.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, how did the Christian family who brought up this beautiful Peter Apostle, all of a sudden finds out? And you had to go through that. Did you go through a patch where you felt like you would maybe let them down in 100%?
So my family started to sort of, they knew something was wrong with me from about 16, 17.
Didn't mean they didn't love you.
Of course not. You know, I started to act up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I moved out of home when I was 19. Yeah. Unheard of for a Greek boy to move out of home without being married. You know, and I've got a massive family. There's about 50, 60 of us, you know, cousins. Massive.
But did they always, your mother and everyone must have known that you always had that inner rebel in you.
Especially when I moved out. Yeah. Especially when I moved out and they saw, you know, fancy cars and holidays and motorbikes and like, what the fuck's going on there, Pete? Yeah. But, you know, I wouldn't go and see my family because I was ashamed. And I didn't want them. I knew they knew, but they didn't know what.
Drag them into that world that you were living.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm, you know, your family life and the choice you make as an adult, which was my choice, was club life. Yeah. That's the choice I made. Yeah. You know, everything to do with clubs.
Yeah, and I think it is a thing because my mother, direct line to God, she's very religious. I always felt that because I was doing parties that I had got into an area and a field of life of whatever that they didn't understand.
You're a sinner.
I was a sinner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know they love you, but your worlds are so very fucking different, and it's very hard to then have a lot of contact with them and be natural in talking to them about what you do. Correct. You want to share what you do, but you go, I can't share all this stuff because they're not going to relate to it. Yeah. So you would have gone through all that as well.
I did. Yeah. I did. Look, I remember the day I got done. My sisters were the first point of contact, and you know,
yeah, sisters are good, aren't they?
You know the bond. Very special. My sisters were like my mothers. They raised me. Yeah. And I just remember them saying, you know, we'll stick by you. Yeah. Just don't fuck up again because you'll never see us again. Yeah. And those words.
Yeah. They meant a lot. Yeah. Yeah. It meant a lot because it's, you know, I think when people, sometimes they've got to be hard, they've got to be cruel to be kind. Yeah. You know, they have to give you the hard love, the tough love.
So,
I think it's amazing because you're telling that story, and I think, because I've only known you since you've been in this headspace.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And so to go through all that and go through all that really hard time to get to where you are now, you often say to people, would you go back and do it all again to get what you have now? And most people go, well, yeah, because I've got this incredible strengths now that I didn't have before. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, you know, after all that shit happened, and it took about 4 years.
Yep.
Magistrates Court, County Court, Supreme Court. Yep. It was full on. It was taxing on my family. It was taxing myself. Taxing. You know, I was broke. I was in debt like $500,000 as solicitors. Wow. It was not fun. Wow. You know, look, could I do jail properly? Can I do 4 or 5 years? Yeah, if I wasn't a father.
Yeah, but that was all came down to being a dad. Yeah.
So that was my motivation. To stay out of jail. Yep. And it was the best experience of my life going through what I went through. Because it brought me back to reality. Yep. It made me go back to being that innocent child. Yep. That not trying to be a sick cunt. Yeah. No bravado.
Just no ego. Just wanting to
be happy
and entertain
be
people.
Clean.
Can I ask you after all this, before you went through all this stuff, when you finally got on the decks again and played, when was that and how did you feel? Because did that change everything?
Yeah. So my life changed the 2nd of June 2015. Yep. It dragged on for about 2.5 years. At the end of 2015, as I said, I was broke. Like, you know, I moved back home with my parents after 15 years of not living there. And I'm like, okay, I need to make money. I need to get myself out of debt. So I was driving trucks for toll. I was cleaning offices at weeknights. I was cleaning public toilets on the weekends. I had some speakers at home. I thought, fuck, start DJing again. And I remember my first ever gig back was the 60th at a $500,000 Bay Hotel in Brighton.
Wow.
And I was so excited.
Stomping ground.
I was so excited. Yeah. I took all my decks, vinyl, the whole lot. Wow. And all I wanted was fucking cold chisel. I was like, fuck. Here we go.
Of course I did. Half Moon.
Yeah, and then my second gig was for $350 at a beautiful home in Essendon.
Yeah.
13-year-old birthday party.
Yeah, wow.
And this is a grown ass man, and I felt ashamed of who I was at that time. I was like, what the fuck? But I did whatever I had to do to get out of the shit, and I was done with all the illegal activity.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, work.
And,
got myself out of debt. You know, Sonny, who got me the job at Toll, thank you, Sonny. You know, he gave me an opportunity where a lot of people, nah, mate, you're looking at going to jail for 3 years. I'm not going to fucking help you out.
Well, I think there's a stigma about people who have done anything wrong, and rather than looking at people and going, we need to give them a chance to shine again, people turn their backs and go, that's all too hard, basket.
Yeah, that's
It's not that they dislike you; it's just it's too hard for them to process.
Yeah, but the people that stick their heads out though and give you a helping hand, I'm a very loyal person. And they'll be.
Sounds like you've had a few quality people around you over the years.
Yeah, I have.
But that getting back on the decks and whatever, did you feel like? So for me, when my life was in the toilet, especially when I was doing parties and stuff, and I was going through some really difficult times, getting on a diving board. The minute I'd get on that board and I'd take off, I'd get this adrenaline rush, and it was like a dopamine fix that I hadn't had for so long.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I was back in life.
Yep.
And did you find that with
exactly the same thing now with music? I remember. So I was doing a few home gigs, private gigs, just to save some money.
Yep.
And then Sinan Dark Sin was looking for an opening DJ to his opening trance party trip. And I tried out, and he loved it. And I started working there, and then started doing a couple little spots at some little bars. And then an ex-girlfriend's mate came to see me play at Top Yard one night.
Yeah, right.
Martha's venue.
Yeah.
And I finished there, and he goes, let's go to the social. Because I want to introduce you to the owner. And I'm like, mate, I'm fucking tired.
Brov.
And he goes, come down,
Shouldn't
come
have
down,
sold the
come
venue.
down. No, he shouldn't have. You know what? I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
He deserves a break. He deserves a break.
It was his time.
And I went down, and I met this brother, and he's like, you're Peter.
Yep.
Fucking Dwayne keeps talking about us, doing my fucking heading about you.
Have a
He
drink,
goes,
girl, let's
are
go.
you free? Can you DJ this Thursday? And I'm like, it was grand final public holiday eve, Thursday night.
What a big one,
2018,
probably
2017, 18.
Yep.
And I played. He wasn't there the first night I played.
Yeah.
Chloe and Jade, the bar girls, were there, and they reported back to him saying he's on, like he's amazing.
Yep.
And that was the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, a lot of the nightclub life and industry, it's very fake. Right?
It's pretty artificial. I think the people who work in it, from the DJs to the managers and whatever, they're very authentic people, but there's a lot of bullshit around it.
Correct.
And, people are using nightclubs to escape their real world, and they put on a persona of who they want to be when they're out. It's a lot of that fake side of things, I think, is always going to be there, you know?
But when you see a genuine person, they stand out above everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And that was Brov.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember
he's a unique character.
Oh, he's honestly, mate. Like I'm very honoured and proud to call him one of my best mates.
Yeah. I remember going in there and saying to him, "Oh, bro, I've got an idea for a Sunday night." No, I don't want to do another night. I make enough money.
Yeah. We were, it was about 2-3 months into our relationship, into our working relationship together, and we went out for lunch and getting to know each other a little bit more. And one of his mates was my across the road neighbour.
Right.
And I got raided.
Right. Oh, wow.
Right.
And the story goes.
I'm starting playing at the social.
Yeah.
Rob's mate turned around and goes, you know that guy? I think he was something. He was someone.
Really dodgy.
Yeah.
Man.
So we're having lunch, and I could see him being a little bit different to normal.
Yeah.
And I could see him wanting to bring conversation. I said, Rob, is everything all right, mate? Anything on your mind? He goes, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. I said, yeah. He goes, heard some rumours about your past.
I can just imagine the way we would have said to
and
you.
I said, oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He goes, I just want to know, is it your past? And then I told him the story.
Yep.
And we got up, he embraced me, and he goes, you're a good bloke.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think you are. And he's one of those people who is not interested in where you've been. He's more concerned about where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And then we went on this journey together, and his and I relationship blossomed.
Yeah.
You know, he's, as I said, he's one of my best mates, and he's by far the best operator I've ever worked with.
Absolutely.
And I've worked with a lot of good operators.
Yep.
I
just think he cared
honest.
about people. He cared about his staff. He cared about people. He cared about DJs.
He's honest.
Yep.
He's straightforward.
Yep.
There's no fucking bullshit.
Yep.
He tells it as it is.
Yep.
And one of his sayings is, if they want hamburgers, you give them hamburgers. I fed them burgers with a lot for about 7.5 years, mate.
So this journey's been amazing for you, and like I said, you are one of Melbourne's best house DJs. I feel like music's going to go full circle again, because I feel like what's around at the moment isn't invigorating the people to make them dance the way they should. I was talking to another mate about how I used to hire DJs to make the crowd move. Now we've got a whole bunch of the crowd just standing there videoing the DJ and have a good time. Does that frustrate you a little bit?
Yeah, it does. It does. Like I get it.
Yet again, social media.
That's what it's all about, right? A lot of people. I don't party a lot these days.
Yep.
I might party 2 or 3 times a year. I know I'm out every weekend, but I'm not partying.
Yeah.
And the 2-3 times a year that I do like to party, I'll go wherever I go. It's usually one of Sin's events. I feel very safe and comfortable there.
Yep.
Dark Sin. And I got my sunnies on. I've got a smile on my face, and I just dance.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people I see every weekend is showing off that they're somewhere.
Yeah.
And, it's like,
yeah,
it's you. That's your life. You do you.
I think it will go full circle again.
When I look at the people on the dance floor who are actually enjoying themselves, even if it's that one person, that's who I'm targeting.
Yeah.
They're on my level.
Yeah.
All this other shit, photos, whatever.
It's all bullshit. Yeah. For you now, what's the next phase for you? Because I feel like you're in a really good headspace. Like I'm loving where you've got to in life. Yep. What's the next phase for you?
So so my day job, fire safety guy.
Yeah, fire safety guy.
I'm fire safety guy. Keeping Melbourne safe. Yeah.
Finally keeping them safe.
Yeah, so I've been doing that for about, I launched that company about 7 years ago.
Yep.
It's just a small business.
It
keeps me busy during the week, gets me out of trouble.
Yep.
I love that, I love my jobs.
Yep.
I love my jobs. That's what I think. That's what makes me very happy.
You obviously growing the 161 thing. How's that going?
At 161's going good.
Yep.
I think it's very hard in Melbourne at the moment, and it has been for a while now.
I think people are reluctant to go out. We've been in, financial crisis. Correct. There's the fuel thing going on, and people just hanging on to their dollars. That'll come around again.
Yeah, it will. So we're just chipping away at it, doing our thing. It's going well. I'm really enjoying working with the 161 team.
Yep.
Hank and the crew, Andy.
Hello, Hank.
Hello, Hanky. They're just great. Very, very similar to Brov.
Yeah.
Straight up. No bullshit. Gentlemen, let's talk business. Let's talk shop.
Yep.
Let's do what we've got to do.
Yep.
How do we make people happy?
Yep.
It's not about how we make money. It's about how do we make people happy.
Yeah.
Because if you're happy, they're happy, everything else will follow.
Absolutely.
So that's going really well. Look, leaving social closing down, as much as I didn't want it to happen, it did give me the opportunity to spread the wings. Yep. Yeah. So you
can get comfortable,
You can get very comfortable. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of thick and juicy stuff.
Yep.
With Cam and the crew there. I do miss the Rock City parties. It was one of my favourite parties of the year.
I missed New Year's Day. The sound. I missed the sound.
New Year's Day was one of my favourite gigs of the year.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it, with all these clubs, because half the ones I used to use when we were doing the parties have been targeted with the fire bombings and whatever. And so for you going through all that, does that stress you out a little bit about?
It does.
It does.
Yeah, I speak to other DJs.
I'm out of it now, but I see it. And I get stressed for the club owners, the people who work there, the DJs. I'm like, these are people's livelihoods,
Correct. And I speak to other DJs, and there's some female DJs that one of them said to me the other day, she goes, I'm actually scared to walk towards the door.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
I haven't thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But it's not fun.
Yeah.
161's going well. I've got my It's a House Thing brand, which is usually a rooftop party. I've been doing it at 161 rooftop. I do about 2 throughout the summer, spring season. Great party.
You're always busy. That's what I love about you. You always got your things happening and trying to try different things and take crowds to different places and whatever.
Yeah. I've just launched another party, which we did 2 weeks ago, called Playground.
Yep.
It's a 90s and 2000s party.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm trying something different for once.
Executive producer over here is loving
that's
that.
all her. I wanted to try something different and not do. I've been around Chapel Street for a fucking long time. That's where I made my bones.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to try something different. And we ran a party at Chelsea Heights Hotel.
Oh, yes. I couldn't go. Wanted to come. How did it go?
Fucking wow.
Yeah.
What have I been doing on Chapel Street all these years?
It's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
It's completely different.
And the bars make a lot of money because they love to drink.
Yeah, they do. It's definitely not a drug crowd. Yeah. It's definitely not a drug crowd. It's definitely a drinking crowd.
Yeah.
And it's just people, mums and dads, that don't want to come to these fancy clubs, that just want to spend $10 on an Uber.
Yep. They've got the babysitter at home.
Correct.
They want to go
and they're let loose. So
relive their past.
Yeah, so I'm doing this party with a couple of boys called Playground.
Yep.
And I found another little niche opening. I'm bringing back my R&B takeover party.
Yep.
That's on the 29th of August at Chelsea Heights Hotel. Tickets on sale soon.
Love a good promo.
Yeah, got to self-plug. So yeah, it's going well. It's going well between that and 161 and It's a House thing and all the other gigs. I love it.
I hope you keep doing what you're doing for
thank you,
as long as you can, because you do. If you ever get a chance to see Peter live, the energy that comes through you is just insane. And I love the fact that you're getting your own merchandise sweat towels, because you sweat like a motherfucker. You sweat. I do. It's all energy, and it's all. It's just. You bring a lot of happiness to a lot of people's lives. And, when in the world that we live in, when people are under the pump and financially strapped for cash and going through a lot of shit that they're going through, to have those few hours where they can hear some decent music, let loose, feel in tune with the music because you deliver it. I feel very blessed that I've had you at my parties. I feel very blessed that you're in the marketplace and still doing what you're doing. And I wish you all the success. And I can't thank you enough for sharing, because what you've shared today, I really felt like you have let a lot of stuff out.
This is a good therapy session.
Great therapy.
Yes, good.
And it is about sharing the blessings and the bullshit, and you've done that incredibly well today. So I thank you so much for your time. Before you go, we have a copy of the book.
Amazing.
Find the Blessing in the Bullshit.
Thank you.
Signed by me. Actually, my EP signs it. Writes in it. I just sign it because I'm dyslexic. But I hope you enjoy that. And we'll catch up sooner or later. And I'll be down at the Chelsea Heights Hotel.
Fantastic.
Banging it out with the 90s music.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Peter Apostle.
Ring a ding ding. Thank you.
Blessings and Bullshit is sponsored by St Kilda's Best Kept Secret, the Hive Milton House co-working space. Amazing staff, rooftop views, incredible community, and a workspace that actually makes you want to show up. Look them up.